Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ashland Planning Board meeting of Thursday, December 19th. The meeting is obviously being broadcast and is also being recorded. So we have two public hearings tonight. This should be kind of an abbreviated meeting that we're actually meeting just to cover these certain topics. But before we get to that, I will call the meeting to order at 7:18, and we will first have the clerk's report. Kate?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did not have time to report. I know there was one email received since the last meeting, which was responded to by the town planner.
All right, great, thank you. Next on our agenda is public comment. Obviously, we have no one in the audience, but we may have people online. Is there any public comment this evening? All right.
I see one hand, Mr. Mark Tassoni. Mr. Mark Tassoni, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Unmute.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. This is through the chairman to Mr. Peter, if I can ask him a question. One is we were somewhat together Monday night on the comprehensive plans meeting. You were involved in a lot of ways. And the other one was I was at the one Tuesday night. Didn't see you there.
You have a question, Mark?
Yeah, it's coming up to the
Okay.
question. And I just was wondering, how did the other meetings go? But ours went well. We got done before 8, and some of the other companies groups got done a little bit after. That's a question. That's one question to Peter. I got another one after.
Well, the meetings was very successful, Mark. You know, I was at both of them on Monday night were successful. And the 3 meetings on Tuesday night, I heard all good, positive feedback.
Okay. And I sent you an email about economic business and, well, the mill building project. Did you get that?
I have not had time to respond, Mark. But yes, I did see that come into my email box.
Okay. Because I came into the office yesterday, and so I was going to try to catch up on that with you, but you weren't in. I saw Elvira there, but everything else went well. Okay, and to the chairman, other than the dog park and the ATT tower, is the rest of the agenda going to be the same from what it is on the sheet of paper that I saw?
That's our typical things that we put on our agenda in case we have, for longer meetings, in case something gets canceled. But we are not going to be going into any of those other things tonight. This is basically for the 2 public hearings, a special kind of online meeting, and then I, for one, will need to leave the meeting. I assume others will as well, given that it's a holiday season.
Okay. And on that little note there, I was going to say to the board, have a good happy holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, and all. And I thank you.
Great, thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, so first on our agenda is the continued public hearing for the Ashland Dog Park. I don't think there's anyone able to attend from the dog park, though Yolanda was going to maybe try to be able to get on. But Peter, we obviously have the decision, and you had gone through various things with the landscape architect. Is that right?
Yeah, so, since the last meeting, myself and Michael Radner, who's not able to join us tonight due to conflict, we did go through all the planning board comments. We went through the design review committee comments. All that information was sent out. There was an updated plan that I'm happy to bring up, and I apologize if I think I forgot to add it to the Friday email, which I just learned of, so I apologize for that, but that updated plan came through. The design review committee notes, responses were sent out. I just want to make one note. I think there was a typo on my end there, a miscommunication. The type of material that is preferred by the dog park and from the Stanton grant is rice stone and not pea stone. I know in the response it said they had a stated pea stone. I think that was a typo on my end, just a miscommunication on material. Rice stone and pea stone, they're very similar. They're just a different stone, different size. So with that said, that was corrected and that was confirmed with the landscape architect. Then further, I can state that the Conservation Commission did meet have met since the last planning board meeting and have approved the plan. But the revised plan from the last meeting, I'm happy to bring it up and share. It does have all the edits that were spoken about at this last planning board meeting. So I did draft that decision. I sent it out. And if there's any questions by the board members, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone from the board want or need to go like just through the drawings again with any questions?
So I just wanted to make sure our documents are correct, because one thing I saw, and I think it might have been on a follow-up saying the 3/8 stone or something like that, and then it went back to the rice stone. But I think in between we have a document saying, I believe we got something that said the Stanton Foundation prefers 3/8, but now it's saying rice stone. So maybe we didn't refer to that. It was just in an email. I am positive that I saw that. And like you said, it may be a typo, but I just want to make sure we have all the documents. It's a reference.
Okay. Do you want me to pull up the decision and go through it, or?
I don't, yeah, that I do have there's definitely, I guess a little more than a typo on that too, but I don't think we refer to 3/8 or rice gravel or anything in the decision, so I'm okay with that. It's the backup documents that we refer to.
So I edited that. I did edit that, and I took out that measurement. I just put rice stone because that's the common. That's been the common term used by all parties.
So I think what happened, and correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, that Peter was in conversation with Michael, the landscape architect, Michael Radner, and going through the list of the design review committee, but Peter was doing the typing on his end and mistakenly put in the pea gravel instead of the rice stone, which still continues to be in the drawings as rice stone, and which I think Michael was pretty clear at the last meeting talking about that was what the Stanton grant people preferred. So on the design review committee, that's where the typo is that Peter's referring to. Because
I just pulled it up. So this is a little bit something we have to correct on the record. Applicant response: pea gravel 3/8 inch is recognized as industry standard.
Yeah,
is
so that was
commonly used in dog parks. So the applicant's telling us 3/8, but now we're saying rice.
But that's the part that Peter misinterpreted, and
No, I understand.
Okay.
I'm just saying I physically have a document that was
Yes,
issued by the
and that's
town
why
that
it needs
says
to be
that.
corrected. I think.
Yes,
Peter, weren't
that
you
was
going
the
to
whole
correct
point of
it 'cause
this.
it-
I
'cause
did
it was your
correct it,
typing?
and I believe we sent it out today.
Okay, you sent out the corrected version?
I asked Alvaro to send it out, but I'm happy to bring up that document, Kate,
Okay.
because I did edit it.
I did not
after-
get it. Alvaro sent 2 documents and it wasn't
Okay,
in there.
maybe-
I
okay.
trust you. I just want stuff to all match.
And I see Karen Dant, who I know is involved with the dog park, has her hand raised, so maybe she has some clarification on this. So Peter, do you want to unmute?
Sure, I just asked
Karen.
Karen to unmute.
Hi everyone. This is Karen Dan. I'm with the Dog Park Committee. I was able to jump on a little bit late, so I apologize. And I'm just getting in part of the conversation that's been discussed. You're right, through both parties, through the design committee. But the Stanton grant, wholeheartedly supports the use, and it becomes highly recommended to use the rice stone versus the gravel, the pea stone gravel, as it is a little bit smaller, and the feedback has been from several parks surrounding the area that Stanton Grant has already provided for, that they use that stone, and the feedback has been responsive, been very good with that product.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interject. I'll go
No,
back.
I'm glad that there was someone on from the dog park who could add to that that narrative.
So
Peter,
when
I think
our
it is,
decision refers to memorandum from Michael Radner addressed to Ms. Jen Ball, no, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Applicant response to design review comments received planning office on December 13th. There's really a Rev 1 of that, which
You know
I
what,
guess
Kate?
doesn't specifically matter. I just want to make sure this is all clean.
So I can take that, I think this came up and I think it was misinterpreted of me. I did talk to Michael Radner today. I revised that
Awesome.
output,
Yeah.
and then I can make the change of the decision. I have a document here. I did update that, and I'm happy to share it with you. And I'm happy to make the update to the decision as well, with the revision of
Oh,
that
so you're going to put a
comments.
new date, like today's date or something?
Correct,
on it.
November.
I think
or
that's a
no-
good idea. Then there's no
Okay.
confusion. Because it was circulated. I got it. I'm not trying to make an issue, just making sure it matches. I get what you did, but we should just say issued today then, the 19th, instead of the 13th on the decision.
Okay.
So that would be, what letter is that? Do you know? On the-
I.
I said, okay, yeah. So that would be, yeah, December 19th, corrected to December 19th. And that's a document, the corrected one that you can recirculate, right, Peter?
Yes, I'm happy to recirculate
Okay.
that.
Okay, so so do we want to bring up the drawings of the dog park, or has everyone sufficiently reviewed that and we can bring up the decision and to go through any corrections or changes or suggestions that
Did
anyone
the
has?
drawings change from our last meeting?
The drawings, I'm happy to share them. I did update the numbers because Michael, I did share the decision with Michael and the date was updated. So it reads 12/9, and I can share those updated drawings too.
So,
I think that-
okay, I'm very confused now because the draft I'm looking at says 12/13 drawings, which I did look at. So now I'm just confused. Like,
Because you know what? Because Michael put the date on
yeah,
for a date. So he issued those, right, prior to the conservation. So
Yep.
then he edited those and sent them to myself and the conservation agent. And I think when I was writing the decision, I was using 12/19. So I changed those to match up with the conservation files. So we're all
Okay.
working off the same plan, Kate.
yeah, that is the goal of this. Okay. So it sounds like they're new drawings from our last meeting. So can we bring them up? If they're
Sure.
not, I don't want to see them. They are, I think we should see them.
No, I'm
Yeah,
happy
the
to.
ones Alvaro sent this afternoon is also from 13th.
Okay,
Which is not the date Peter has on the new decision. That's what I don't understand.
because this is what I'm getting from Michael Radner.
Yeah.
So when I emailed Michael Radner today, he looked at the decision and he made the note that the final decisions approved by the Conservation Commission read the 9th. I
Okay.
apologize for this confusion.
But the ones Alvaro sent say the 13th. So we really haven't necessarily seen the correct drawings yet.
You know what, I was working on a bunch of stuff today, so I think I just asked Alvaro to send them out, so maybe we circulated the wrong decisions and I didn't have time to pick up. I did not pick up on it, so I apologize.
I know I think it's fine. It makes, he would take the latest drawings, the 13th, really they're the 9th are the latest. It sounds like.
Why would the 9th be the latest drawings and not the 13th?
Don't know, but that's what Peter's saying. The new decision says the 9th drawing. So we'll see when he pulls them up what they're dated.
I'm just trying to find them right now. I apologize.
I thought that the decision I'm looking at, the drawings are labeled 12/13/24, the issue date. Is that?
Yes, they are, but Peter just pulled up a document to look at for the decision that said 12/9. And he said something about they got reissued because that was the set approved by the Conservation Commission. But I don't know. I agree. I don't know.
So-
So we have to.
So the Conservation Commission met. And I'm sorry for this confusion. The Conservation Commission met on December 9th. And Michael Radner submitted plans after the planning board meeting, which was on the 5th, right? And it said 13th. And so the Conservation Commission could not approve plans that were dated the 13th because their meeting was on the 9th. Does that make
Right.
sense? So these plans right here are revised November 9th. Can everyone see those?
Yep.
Okay. And then I have an email I can bring up confirming with Michael Radner that the 9th are the date of the approved conservation plans and the most up-to-date plan. And so that's why
Okay.
they went back to the 9th instead of the 13th, because the conservation couldn't approve anything on that said the 13th on the
Got
9th.
it. That makes sense.
Okay.
But this is what we've seen on, or they changed again based on meeting with conservation.
Nope, these were approved by the Conservation Commission. And, they incorporated all the comments that we had on the 5th.
And they're the ones that were sent out today, at least, right?
Because I think Alvaro selected the wrong set of plans, and I apologize for that.
So the only thing that's a little confusing to me about that is I recall at the meeting, they got the design review. They said, yes, they agreed to that stuff. They said, yep, we're going to move some landscaping. We're going to do this and that. But when did that happen if they're actually going back to a 12/9 date? I guess I
So we-
totally understand everything you said up to then, but now I'm saying I'm trying to wonder if I've seen these. And if I have, I'm okay. But if I haven't, then we kind of have to scrub them for the changes we talked about at that meeting.
Okay. So let's go through them then, Kate. I think that's the best thing to do. Or we can scrub we can move this to January 9th where we have to hear a application on a special permit for the site alteration. So if you want to go through them, I think we can go through them. I apologize that these weren't the ones circulated, but I can tell you that these are the most up-to-date plans, and they were approved by the Conservation Commission.
Okay, I'd want to go side by side with ones from the 5th, because I know like there was some landscaping and trees, like maybe 1 tree or 5 trees where they're moved doesn't matter, but we all talked about it and spent time talking about it, and I don't know that they're on here. In keeping with that, the applicant very much wanted it to look nice too, for screening, but there were quite a few live changes made at the meeting that I don't know are on this set. Those live changes meaning agreements to changes of placement of quite a few, substantial number of things that people left happy with. So if they never got to these plans,
Well,
I'm not
most of
saying
them-
they didn't, I have to scrub them. I'd want them side by side. So I can do that.
Okay.
I mean, people want this meeting to be quick, and I think it should be, and so that can't probably be done tonight, but if there's, so how does that work? voting on this, on these plans, but there's another one, like, I'm confused about that part, because there's a whole other approval needed, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So if we're waiting till the 9th, like, are we supposed to vote on this tonight, or do we just wait till the 9th anyway then?
No, we, if I may, Chair Show, on the
Please.
5th, we decided to have this special, meeting tonight
Yes.
to try to tie up any loose ends, so we don't carry them into the calendar year. And it was discussed on the 5th that the Stanton grant, we have to move, as the town, the applicant, to obviously receive this grant, right? We talked to the Stanton Foundation, and they know where we are in the permitting. And so they also know that we have to come back here on the 9th. They're in favor of this. They know where we stand, but we do have to come back on January 9th. And that was because of the advertisement dates in the newspaper regarding that application, that you made note of on the 5th. So therefore, we do have to come back on the 9th and vote a special permit. This was just continuing to be reviewed to move everything along. So we weren't carrying it over into the new calendar year.
So Karen had her hand up again just a moment ago. Can we see what she wanted to add into that? To
So
this?
thank you. Karen, would you like to step forward?
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I was my understanding, those do look like the final designs that you just had there, by the way. But I understand, Kate, why you'd want to make sure whatever was discussed in that design meeting is also carried over into any of the final designs. You're right, there were discussion about moving possibly some plantings and also some things over into the I think there's a water runoff and on the left side of that parking lot, there was a decision to maybe plant some things over there. But that design hasn't really changed. I could tell by the fact that we had the ADA, we had the handicap parking moved closer to the gate entrance, and also the parking spaces was brought down from 20 to 16. And I'm not sure if we had a chance to scroll down to further design pictures, but we might have seen that we have plantings between the parking lot and the road as well, that was also covered through discussion. I was under the impression that this meeting was also for the DEP, but maybe that is also the other date you're talking about. Then maybe that is the January date for the DEP signage needed for the parcel.
No, the DEP signage would come from the Conservation Department.
Okay,
Yeah, that DEP number would not come from.
okay, so then we might have that already then. Okay,
Yep, I think you guys already have, we're already issued that.
okay, great.
Yep.
So Peter, obviously what we're trying to get to, what this was supposed to be about, was confirming the final design so that they would have that for the Stanton grant, which is apparently needed by the end of this month, right? So where are we on that? Obviously, we don't want to lose the Stanton grant.
So we've confirmed with the Stanton grant, we're not gonna lose the Stanton grant. They know where we are, and we have some, it was once thought that we had to have everything done by December 31st. I think we've reached out to them. They know where we are in permitting. They know we are with the planning board, and they have given us some flexibility, as long as we can go to bid early, I would say late January, early February. And I think we're still on task to do that as the applicant, the town. But with that said, we do have to come back on the 9th. If there is confusion, there's no harm to move this to the 9th and just kind of continue on. And after the meeting, I can send out the most up-to-date files and we can kind of move forward. And that would give us obviously 2 additional weeks to review everything. And then move forward in confidence at one meeting, which would be on January 9th. So if that's a prerogative of the planning board, I think it's acceptable and it's understood.
Okay, well, the thing I want to do that I still want to do is I think we should open up the decision. Because I think the questions really have to do with, hey, is everything in this set of drawings? I know that I looked at the set of drawings but again, yeah, I guess, because the date change, is hard to say which set of drawings I was looking at.
Mhm.
And I noted in the details that the comments that I made were incorporated.
Mhm.
But it is kind of confusing to have these various dates. So if
No, I
that's,
understand, I understand.
yeah, so if that's okay that we wait till the 9th, because we have to make sure we're all looking at the same drawing, which has been provided to us in advance. And we're okay with the Stanton grant, let's at least go through the decision.
Okay.
And because we haven't done that yet, see if anyone had comments on that. So that is all wrapped up for the 9th as well. And that's other information you can give to the Stanton grant people if needed, that we actually went through the decision. We could take a preliminary vote to see if we're feeling okay with it. We just need to confirm the drawings.
Mhm.
I want to give them as much information, as much that we can, about our feelings on this project, so.
So I just pulled up the draft decision. I'm happy to go through it.
Okay. Yeah,
There's
so
been
if you
no
can,
changes to this document since I circulated it.
okay. So just for the board, I was given, as fairly typical in what we do, is, Peter gave me an initial draft of this. I went through and edited it and tried to keep it very close to what is asked for in the site plan language. And so I gave Peter my edits, and then he sent it out to the board, so.
So Peter, make sure that the date on the set of drawings, this one has December 13th. So if we are referring to 9th, let's make sure we
Yep.
correct that.
Thank you, Deepa.
And is this a location that you would also change the date on the letter from?
That's a memo. It's down further.
Yeah, right
It's
there on
I.
I. So that should be the 19th.
And a lot of the drawing revision dates also, at least the set on the 13th does not probably, we need to make sure that these dates match.
Okay.
Yeah, those, I assume the engineering drawings, the utility plan and things like that probably hadn't changed, and we're, with the other things that happened on the landscape.
Mhm.
So that's probably why they have a different date, I assume.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I did notice that I think on some of those drawings, they continue to show the little built structure in the first location, but I'm not sure that matters to their work, so they didn't update it, right? So, but that might want to be confirmed.
Mhm. Is everyone good with the documents?
Yeah, I think I'm done with the document.
Okay. This is the finding, location.
Does everyone have a chance? Did you already have a chance to read this? We don't need to pause if we're just looking for people's notes on their own copies.
I have on 4. I have a comment on 4.
You want to take out those extra spaces while you're there, Peter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Kate.
So, okay, it looks like that might have been changed on the caliper of trees. It said the rear section of both large and small underbrush with caliper of 4 inches will be removed, and then so remained. Is that? Oh yeah, it still says that. Okay, so it should say large and small dog areas, underbrush, and trees with a caliper less than 4 inches will be removed.
And so instead of 4 inches or less, it should be caliper of less than 4 inches.
Yes.
So if you hit 4 inches, you get to stay. Is right, is the basic.
Nope, next sentence, yeah, right,
Yep.
not 4 inches, the first 4 inches. There you go.
Okay. So what it is, in the rear section, okay, both churches, underbrush and trees with a caliper of 4 inches or less.
No, less than 4 inches will be
Less than
removed,
4 inches, okay.
or can be removed, I guess, because I wouldn't mandate to remove any trees myself.
Is that good? Can be removed?
Yeah, that's fine. But you need the word, oh, okay, you got it.
Yeah, I just haven't accepted the change. I can
Okay.
accept the change.
All right,
Then it's gonna kick us off, so. There it goes. Less than 4 inches can be removed. Okay. I'll clean it up at the end.
okay, so.
Any stops?
Any additional comments from the board? Correction?
I mean, the only thing I would do, I read through, so I didn't redline anything. I feel like the general project conditions are standard for like a building, so they feel like maybe they could be cleaned up, but I'm not sure it matters. There's nothing wrong with them, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, well. Under building materials, general project conditions number 2.
Yeah, I mean,
I-
stuff like that
But I
probably
think,
doesn't need to be there.
but I think that, wait a minute. I think all that actually needs to be changed is the word siding to the word structure.
Yeah,
Because I do think there's structure, there's roofing, and there's trim likely on that little pavilion. So, but there is not siding.
yep.
So, the structure is very visible, so it would make sense that we put that word in there. I don't know what kind of, there will be some kind of trash pickup and rubbish pickup at the site, right? I think that there's waste
Yeah.
cans there, I assume.
Does
So,
this get a building permit? Is that what it's, the permit, is that called building permit though?
it will
Yeah,
get a
that,
building permit, yeah.
that structure will get a building permit and, we'll also get a road opening permit. As water, will have to be, pulled through to the side of the road.
Did that first sentence then on 1 prior to the issue of any permits? Like, since it's really, the other permits are more important than the building permit. The structure possibly could fall under not needing a building permit size.
And actually, the reason why I asked is that building permit repeats itself in literally every other sentence in this conditions.
So you would take out the
Is there a
word,
hierarchy? That's what I was trying to understand. If there are other permits that's more important for this versus the building permit.
I mean, that's a good, I think if, in this case, it looks like you're isolating to that structure by saying building permit, and it's actually project site's more important.
I think any work on the site, though, is also a building permit. Like, I don't think there's a landscape permit or, I mean, that I'm aware of. Am I wrong on that, Peter? I mean,
No, you're 100% correct.
usually
There's no-
landscape drawings and civil drawings are
Mhm.
are all included in the construction set, and you apply for a building permit for the whole thing.
That's true.
Electrical drawings, plumbing drawings.
This is really the permit per se for the landscaping, so if you would like me to change it,
No.
please, I'm happy for input. I'm happy to take any input.
I think, yeah, like I said, I'm not, that's been my experience. I can't say it's universal. And I also thought building permit is more about the act of building than the object of a building. Um, but, I don't, I couldn't quote the law on that or anything, so.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a specific language for infrastructure work versus building. When you say building permit, obviously it's also the access and into a building, and that's when the surrounding areas come into play. But I wonder if there's another word like for infrastructure. This is more infrastructure upgrades versus a building permit, right? So I don't know if that's the right word for the permit.
But when we have a big building to do, and there's always, infrastructure and site work
Yeah,
and everything that needs to be done, and we use this document and call it a building permit. In this case, the building is very small, and the infrastructure maybe, I don't think the infrastructure is actually very big too, but it has parking and it has
yeah,
some plumbing and, some water and, but it has those same components, that a building would. So I'm not sure, it's just a different type of project. I don't think there's an issue with that. So is there anything else on, in the general conditions that was sounding like that's something left over, or that is not applicable here? I think most of them, um, I think most of them really are about any kind of site work, about, pre-construction meetings, about recording it at the Registry of Deeds, about making a chain link fence for safety, about not parking vehicles on Mem Drive, traffic. So all of them really are actually pretty, applicable to,
yeah.
to any type of project.
Yeah, the one note I could say, looking at condition 1, you could say, prior to the issuance, or I would say, prior to the commencement of site work, final construction drawings must be detailed and submitted with the planning office and the conservation office. And they shall reflect the civil drawings and architectural renderings as approved. Obviously, those are all kind of what we're approving here within this permit, right? So it's kind of one step over the other. We do
So-
just put building permits, and yeah, that's a boilerplate from our typical permit. So if
So-
that's the,
Peter,
if that's where you-
wait a minute, were you suggesting that, your first comment was saying something about prior to
let's say
any
commencement,
site clearance or the issuance of any building permit? Is that what
yes,
that was like the first thing you said?
yes.
Would people like to add that in just to kind of acknowledge that it's a little different kind of project?
I think that's a good idea. I just, while you guys were talking, looked up, like the state seems to imply building actual structure for a building permit. So I think it would be good to add that.
And we don't have architectural renderings for this, right? I know we saw an example from another project, but should we take that off? Because we are not holding to any architectural renderings for this.
There's a landscape,
And the landscape.
Rendering.
Mhm.
like a landscape plan rendering, because that, I don't think that,
Should we say that instead of the architectural renderings?
yeah, I think we could do that.
Or maybe you should say landscape drawings versus renderings even.
That's fine. Yeah, landscape
Probably
drawing.
color drawings, so
Yeah. It's more in line with the project.
Okay.
And then just take out the word renderings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, and put an S after landscape drawings, because there was a color render, there was the colored drawing, but the landscape drawings include details and a lot of things, you know, in that set. So.
I'm assuming this is like a boilerplate format, right? So we don't have to get it because like there are so many prior to issuance of building permits, prior to issuance, that literally repeats so often. It feels like there's no hierarchy. Every sentence starts with that. I don't know if this is just a boilerplate. This one we can leave it and not really mess with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like, this is this decision, obviously, this is a, reduced set from the larger set that we have for like 501 Pond Street and that kind of thing. But as I think Kate has mentioned in the past, it could use another pass through. I've
Yeah.
gone through it pretty crazily a few years ago now, to try to like put it in order and kind of like chronological order about how a project happens. But it could use it. It's certainly some repetition in there, and it could use another pass for sure. But it is our typical boilerplate as we have it right now.
Okay.
So, okay, well, is there anything, if there's nothing else, and I'm not saying that there's, not trying to end the discussion, but if there's nothing else, we can, you know, obviously then this will go to January 9th. But hopefully, you know, we just get the set of drawings, we'll get this final edit. And then we should be good to go. We'll have Marcelo and Anna, you know, review the tape, you know, of this meeting. And I know we've done it before, but I will just open it up for public comment. I'm not sure there's any, actually, I'm not sure there's anybody from the public really there. So. Oh, Mark is still there. I didn't see Mark.
Mark, you are now unmuted.
Yeah. When this project first came up, I kind of was on the fence of this now. And I'd like all this building permits talk about it, 'cause it makes it more official and more structurally talked about, because that's what I was asking about the first time. But overall, what will be the final, after you sign this document to go, will this be going to the state for any reason? That's my question.
No. This
That's
does not
easy.
need to go to the state.
Only bylaws and things like that go to the state, so this is just local. It'll be a local building permit.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I would say, I mean, we only have 4 people here, but I would ask us to take an informal vote until we get this about, just so that if the dog park committee needs it, that we have a general sense of where this is going. So I would just like to take an informal vote about what planning board members. Amanda, this is informal, so if you're able, you can vote as well. If you as an individual member of the board are in general support of the dog park. So Deepa, I'll start with you.
Just one thing, I was just Googling too. I was curious about this building permit, and actually it's called park permit versus building permit. So maybe we need to kind of confirm that it actually is supposed to be called park building permit, because when you just Google to see what dog park permit requirements are, it actually says park requirements versus building permit. So maybe
Peter, is that something you can confirm with Doug?
confirm.
Deepa,
About,
can you please send me what you're looking at and I'll take it.
Sure, I'm
I'll-
just randomly, I just Googled because I was very curious. It was bothering me a little bit. So I was like, I
Okay.
just Googled, it says actually park permit versus building permit, but I can send you what I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
no,
be
that-
great.
yeah, I would say look at it and talk with Doug and see, yeah, if we just want to have the right terminology in there.
Okay. Yep, we'll take care of it.
But Trisha, did you say we are voting kind of?
Yeah, it's just an informal vote. I just would like to know I mean, I think I know where people stand, but for the dog park, to be able to tell if there is any discussion with Stanton about the members we had here and if we're in general support or not, I guess. I want them to have that information.
I support the project.
Thank you. Kate?
Yeah, this is great.
All right. Amanda?
I support it.
All right, and that is, I do as well, so that is 4 of the members we have here, which is including our associate member. All right, thanks for that.
I
So,
make a motion to continue, and then the question is, I'm assuming the answer is no, we probably don't want to close hearing in case, because it's a low risk item, but you could still have something, so probably don't close the public hearing.
I don't think we should close the public
Yeah.
hearing because 2 of our members aren't here, and what if they have a question?
Okay, yep.
Yeah,
I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for Ashland Dog Park to the January 9th, 2025 meeting.
is there a second?
Second,
And a roll call vote,
Deepa Venkatai.
Catherine Jersey, aye.
and I'll say Trisha Kendall, aye. So we will continue that till January 9th. Thank you, Karen, for coming online. All right,
Okay.
so our next agenda item is the public hearing for 400 Cedar Street. This is the cell tower, and Peter, I think we have someone here today. I don't know if there's any additional
We have
information.
There's been no additional information. There's been, I did write the decision. I did circulate it. At the note, I just want to make a note that I did add the 3 bullet points, A, B, and C from Greg Eldridge's letter. I thought I did, but I think I miscommunicated. So I was able to do that when Trisha alerted me today. So I'm happy to bring up that decision. But other than that, Mr. Tim Green is here representing the applicant, and there's been no other changes to that decision. Mr. Green, do you want to step forward? Do you have any updates that you would like to provide the planning board? I'm asking you to unmute.
No, nothing has changed since the last hearing.
same project.
All
All
right.
right.
Peter, do you want to bring up the decision?
Yep.
And if anyone has any questions from the board, please let me know. I will, again, just open it for public comment. Mark, you're our public. Do you have any public comment on this one? I think Mark needs to unmute.
Yeah, Mark, I'm asking you to unmute.
Okay. Now, I know with the cell town and all the other towns have gone through the FCC, and whatever the question is from regular citizens won't have any bearing on the final decision. But I just wanted to just make sure that in the future of AT&T, I know they are going for 5G, which this is 5GG. So I kind of understand what's going on with that, but I just want to make sure that it takes in the public warning signs from the FCC and the Board of Health to keep approaching them in case anything comes up from the public that the Board of Health is going to be listening to them. That's it.
Thank you, Mark. All right, so this is our fairly standard cell tower decision. Except that, as you can see on the on condition number 1, we have added in the letter from Greg Eldridge of Haley and Ward.
I have a question about that. I didn't really understand the way that's worded. So AT&T shall ensure all required stud work be incorporated on a new set of drawings that should be peer reviewed. So like we talk like, is it about drawings or about work or both? Because that's I can't tell from that condition the way it's written.
I think it's almost taken exactly, I believe, from Greg Eldridge's letter. Let's see, I have it open here somewhere.
I can open it up and show you.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So they have, so does this mean that the drawings aren't really final, I guess? So we're making, we're making on drawings that are gonna have to be changed? That's what condition 1's saying then. That seems a little odd.
I thought, well, let's open it up.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. The drawings
go
have
ahead.
been completed per what Greg Eldridge wanted. Those are the ones that were submitted to you. However, he hasn't given his official concurrence that we did what he asked us to do, although we did do what he asked us to do. So the drawings are not going to be changed. You have the latest drawings.
Okay, that's what I kind of thought, because I remember, so then that condition needs to be probably slightly changed how it's worded.
So this is the letter from Greg Eldridge. And I believe this is this is where the comment comes from.
So we're saying that he's saying that the existing studs were tested, and anything that needed to be changed has on the drawings has already been changed.
That is correct. We did the stud testing over the summer.
Okay. But Peter, did we receive anything from Greg Eldridge saying that that work had been completed?
So I know, so Greg Eldridge has, I know plans have been submitted. I do not, Greg has not given me anything in hard writing since then. This is the last big up-to-date email, except a couple of email exchanges with Greg saying that he's reviewed the plans and he feels confident within the plans. I think this is just kind of one of those items that will kind of obviously more things, I think AT&T did submit new plans, correct? Correct, Tim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Greg has the new plans. We've also gone forward with this. We're kind of running a couple things concurrently. I don't know if this needs to be in the zoning decision. It can be. It doesn't matter to us at all. But regardless of that, there's going to be a final letter and a final sign off by the water department before we can get a building permit. So the zoning part of this is basically the concept of we're going to make changes. And the detail work is going to really go to the building department. Again, I don't have a problem with the wording that you have there because we've already done it. But there's he's talking about a revision date of May 4, 2023. And over the last year, we've done some change. We had to do some testing to the tank. That finished in probably late August. And we made those changes to the drawings and move forward with zoning. And they're aware of it. We just haven't got the official letter back from Greg.
All right, so I thought we had that already. So it seems like then this condition is that either there's a condition in here stating that the board's approval is contingent upon Greg's final review and approval of the documents, because we haven't received that. Or we get that and we take care of it on January 9th. So
I think that condition needs to be cleaned up one way or another. And then if there's something else that needs like sign off, like I get that the building department has specific things, but we're making it a condition, have to, prior to the issue of a building permit, they have to provide the name and contact information of the contractor to the town, which this sign off by a town seems even more important than that, right? You have to give you an emergency contact. So if we bothered to put that, I feel like final town requirements referring to that, just something can be generic. But I wouldn't feel good about skipping that as a condition.
do you want to put the document back up, Peter?
Mhm. I'm sorry.
So condition 1 can't be changed to, so I'm assuming this is all talking about 10/17/24 drawings that our decision's based off. Can it
Mhm.
say that a condition is a approval by Greg Eldridge of Haley and Ward of the 10/17/24 drawings? Because we have not received that apparently.
I guess you could take out on a new set and just say stud work to be incorporated on drawings that shall be peer reviewed by Greg Eldridge prior to issuance of a building permit. That would cover it. He has
Yeah.
them. We just need the letter.
What was
Sure.
the date of the
Is
drawings,
that the
Kate?
10/17/24 drawings?
Yes,
Yeah.
those are the latest.
So the one thing is that's part of it settled.
But sorry, Kate, what was the date of those drawings? It wasn't,
So
was it?
she said 10/17.
That's
Yeah.
that's what the decision says. I didn't open them to go check if it is, but that is what it says.
And I
Tim,
think
what
it
are the
should be,
dates of the newest drawings that were submitted to Greg Eldridge?
okay. And that should be peer reviewed and approved.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
one thing is it's on the drawings, but it's already on the drawings. But is this physical work? Like that's the way that's worded. So they shall ensure all required work incorporated on the drawings, and then he's going to peer review and approve. But do we care if the work, like those are separate things to approve drawings or the work? And I'm not clear what's going on with the work, and do we, the planning board, have to care about that, or is that moved on to the building commissioner?
I'm,
So this says they shall ensure all required work be incorporated on a revised drawing set. That Greg Eldridge has to peer review and approve the drawings. It doesn't say he has to peer review and approve the work, and I'm not clear if that is supposed to be a condition or not.
are you talking about peer review the construction work? Or-
It seems like there was some pre-work that needed to be done, right?
I think,
Like physical work. And that's what I don't know what someone's trying to say with that sentence. It's very confusing.
I think the pre-work was done. Let's see. There's a confirmation email that was sent out on Friday. Sorry, in Peter's email that went out on Friday, the 13th. They talk about Greg Eldridge's peer review letter, which we were just looking at, and his confirmation email. So the confirmation email that he sent on October 9th says that the review is done. We need a copy of the stud inspection report. I suggested AT&T ensure the required stud work be incorporated into a new set of drawings so the contractor knows what needs to be done. That work should be confirmed at the pre-con meeting as also. So that was an email from Greg Eldridge on October 9th.
I
So
gotta, and okay, so what you just read to me, I don't think is what that sentence says. If that's what we're trying to capture.
I'm just not following. And so Greg Eldridge asked that the required stud work be captured in a new set, incorporated into a new set of drawings. The set we saw, which came out, I guess, on October 17th, apparently incorporates that stud work. But Greg Eldridge hasn't reviewed those drawings with the required stud work on them. So I'm not sure I'm following what you're saying, Kate.
I'm just trying to find those reports in email.
I mean, maybe you can just say AT&T shall ensure that drawings shall be peer reviewed and approved by Greg Eldridge of Haley and Wood prior to the issuance of building permit. I mean, they have the stud work. The stud work's very specific, though. It's just a last thing. I don't know if it needs to be a specific condition, the stud work, but I mean, we put it in. There was nothing that really came of it. And again, Greg has it, and we made the changes to the drawings after that email, where you got October 17. So it's kind of a formality, but I have no problem with peer review by Greg at Haley and Wood. We've been working with him for 2 years now, so.
Yes,
So
but
it's
actually-
a copy of the stud inspection report. That's what review is done. It's the peer review. I need a copy of the stud inspection report. And then this is saying the AT&T, the required stud work be on the drawings. Which is, okay, AT&T shall ensure all required stud work incorporated on the revised set of drawings. Should be peer reviewed and approved. Okay, so that covers that. So it's not work, but it is work because work was done and he wants a stud inspection report. what email says, right? On October 9th. So did they get a copy of the stud inspection report?
He did, and I've sent it all
Oh.
to him. Looking to kind of clean it all up. I thought it would all be done by now, but it isn't yet, but I'm not
Yeah.
concerned about it. It's just a matter of Greg saying, yeah, you did what you asked me to do. Because we just we didn't have to change the plans. We just had to add notes to the plans about the stud work that we had tested over the summer.
Which is different than a stud inspection report though, right?
Well, it's the same, but the stud, we had to go out and inspect the studs on the tank. And there had to be a plan if any of them were faulty to fix them. But none of that is that, out of the ordinary. But we got the stud inspection report back on August 28th.
All right, so how do we need to change the first condition, Kate, so that it incorporates what your concerns are?
I mean, I don't know, I guess we don't have to care if there's a stud inspection report that they issue, but we don't have confirmation of. And then do the drawings say, so I'm looking at Hailing words from, it's like from the 26th. And he's saying, it is understood by all parties, any studs identified during the field testing, which again, they've done in August or something, and any identified during the wireway removal. So I don't know if that is upcoming work. Will be replaced an appropriate coating system applied to the damage coating system. So if the wireway removal work hasn't been done, shouldn't that be a condition?
Should, but, I mean, we don't want to, we don't want to do materials and methods here about exactly what is happening on site, right? Isn't our sole concern that Greg Eldridge, who has brought up these concerns, isn't our sole concern that Greg Eldridge signs off on the final drawings, that he peer reviews and approves the final drawings?
I mean, if they have a note that says any others will be replaced along the way and he's satisfied, sure, that's fine. That's putting a lot on one person, but that's
his
fine.
job, right? That's his job. It's certainly not ours to decide what, I have no expertise in this area, right? About what needs to be done or not done, but Greg does. So
then why are we even referring to that? Why don't we just say the final set needs to be peer reviewed and approved?
I think that's what Mr. Green actually had just mentioned a few minutes ago, that you can take out the stud work and just say that he peer reviews and approves the current the 10-17, drawings, or, the final.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do and not try to, there's other quote conditions potentially. So just make that Greg Eldridge has to repute the 10-17 drawings that our decisions based on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Mr. Green was suggesting. So that's, he's not just looking at one little part, he's looking at the whole thing again, or whatever he wants to look at. And that it'll be contingent on his final approval. So I would say,
I'm gonna say AT&T shall ensure all required, I can just strike that.
I would just say, the revised, I would take out the whole first part and just say the
Yeah.
revised set of drawings.
But you can't say revise, you have to say the exact one, revise
Yeah,
for
no,
who,
the-
when, please don't do that, yeah.
The
just-
10-17-24 drawings. Drawing set, shall be peer reviewed and approved. But you can just take it, it's already there, Peter, you can just erase what the next lines, right? It's already there, right? Yeah. And keep peer reviewed. Yeah, and then you need to, on your second review down, you need to take off the
Yeah,
ED.
and so
So everything is contingent
Greg
on,
Eldridge prior to the issuance of a building permit.
That's totally fine. Because we need that anyway in order to get the water department to provide the approval to do the work per the terms of the lease. So that's fine.
right, and if you're, if we want, we can add on the end to that, any significant changes must be brought to the brought to the attention of the planning board. We don't obviously expect there to be any at all, but
No, there won't be.
is that sounding okay?
All right. Anybody, these 2 through 4 came directly from Greg's letter. Which I'm happy to bring back up again. And then moving on, these are very boilerplate conditions that we have for cell towers. Obviously I'll change. I'll reformat this. Then we're just moving to vote. Does anybody have any other further questions?
If there's no further questions, comments, concerns, we can close the public hearing. Kate, do you have anything else that you think
Nope.
should be incorporated?
Nope.
Okay. Then, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second,
And a roll call vote?
Deepa Venkatai.
Catherine Jersey.
And is Amanda in on this one?
Amanda Hayes, aye.
Thanks,
Yes,
Amanda.
Amanda is on this.
And Trisha Kendall, aye. Is there any further comment before we take a vote on the special permit? Kate, do you want to make the motion? You want me to?
I have to bring up the decision to get the proper wording there. Draft
Do you want me to
decision.
share it?
Sure.
I can do it too. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I can do it. I got it. I make a motion to approve the special permit modification, new singular wireless PCS LLC, 396 to 400 Cedar Street. As presented this evening.
I would say as modified.
Okay, I meant presented on the screen live, but yes,
Okay.
as edited tonight.
Okay. And is there a second?
I second that.
All right, a roll call vote.
Deepa Venkatai.
Catherine Jersey.
Amanda Hayes, aye.
And Trisha Kendall, aye. So that is approved. Thank you, Mr. Green, for your time. Thanks, Mark, for being our member of the public. And as I said at the beginning of the meeting, I don't even think we have meeting minutes to go through tonight.
No,
So
we do not.
if anyone has a general announcement, I would love to hear it. But otherwise, for any further work of the board, we're gonna wait until the new year. Does anyone have anything that they need to put out there?
Nope.
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Happy holidays all.
All right, then, oh, we need a motion to adjourn, folks. So I will make a motion to adjourn at 8:32 PM.
Second,
And a roll call vote.
Deepa Venkatai.
Catherine Jersey.
Amanda Hayes, aye.
And Trisha Kendall, aye. Now we can leave, Deepa.
Happy holidays.
Have a great night. Have a great holidays.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye.